probably had over 10 preceptors, except for 2 have been, in my opinion, fantastic. This channel is made so that other student nurses can know what to expect. All right, guys, hello. I wanted to make a video about things you might not know about preceptors. And partly I'm making this video because someone commented very politely, and I agree with a lot of what they said, that I should be very careful about how I speak about preceptors. They could obviously tell there was one that I did not like, and as I wear the shirt, be kind, I do think it's important to be kind to others. I'll just say I've worked really hard not to identify people I complain about. At the same time, this channel is made so that other student nurses can know what to expect. And I've had lots of preceptors. I was trying to count, and I'm not completely sure how many, because when I was on the labor and delivery unit, they floated me around to different people all the time because the person who was supposed to be my preceptor was on bereavement leave. So I had different people a lot. A few people I had more than once, but I had several there. And with my other rotations, sometimes my preceptor would be busy and she would give me a different person for that day. I probably had over 10 preceptors. I can't count for sure how many, some things run together, but probably for sure over 10 preceptors. And I can tell you for sure, all of them, except for 2, have been, in my opinion, fantastic preceptors. And everyone can't be fantastic. That's just life. But I wanted to tell you some things that I've learned about preceptors just from hanging around preceptors. First off, do they get compensated? You are spending a lot of money probably on your degree, and you might wonder how much of this is going to the preceptor who's helping you so much. Most places, no. One of the places I've done stuff at, they get $1 an hour extra. So, I mean, that's almost the same as nothing. It's kind of, in a way, insulting. Like, I'd rather have $1 an hour than nothing, but at the same time, to say that training a future nurse is only worth $1 an hour extra is kind of insulting. So no, your preceptors are not getting big bucks extra to help you. They're doing this in addition to their current nurse caseload without extra compensation. So, and their day is probably going longer because you're there with them. So keep that in mind. 2, if you're wanting to work at a place that you're doing your clinicals at, there's a very good chance that HR is going to come up to your preceptor and be like,
how are they doing? What do you think about this student?
So know that I would treat your preceptor like someone who's going to potentially decide if you get hired or not at the place you're at. Definitely. Even though it's not their decision, there's a good chance they're going to be consulted. I would say almost for sure. So treat your preceptor like a person who's going to decide if you're going to work there or not. Next, I would just suggest you thank them. All the preceptors, even the ones I haven't liked, I have been very overly thankful to them. Not overly thankful, they deserve it. Like, I compliment them. There's definitely something you can compliment about anyone. The 2 that were less than fantastic, I think also showed signs of being very insecure. And so I think complimenting them, that's important. They needed that. And yes, you're their student, but you're both human beings. And human beings need appreciated. So, when there was something they did amazingly well, if you notice your preceptor has a really good skill, point it out, compliment them. To be honest, I did that more with the preceptor that I liked least than I did with the ones I liked the most, just because it seemed like she needed it. Don't get in their way. You have paid a lot of money for your classes, for your degree. You're paying for this opportunity to do clinicals. It is your opportunity to learn, but remember, they're not getting that money, and they have probably the same patient load they would normally have. And so there were some times when things were slow and I was allowed to do a lot of things. And there were some times when things were busy and I was allowed to observe a lot of things. It just depended on how well that nurse could juggle their caseload, how much time they had free to devote to letting me do stuff, because it goes slower when a student nurse is doing something. It goes slower. So respect that, give them the space they need. And I always sometimes the preceptors would say,
what are you allowed to do?
And I would always tell them,
I'm allowed to do anything you're comfortable letting me do, but I need supervised.
because that's what we were told by Elmhurst. And some of them were comfortable letting me do a lot, some of them weren't. And it's their license on the line. I tried very hard to respect that. I would say if you feel like you're not getting enough experience, it would be good to talk to your clinical supervisor in that case and say, maybe I need someone different because I'm not getting enough experience. But I always felt like even if the nurse was wanting to do everything themselves, I was still learning a lot by being right there watching a lot of those things. And no one was ever like, you can't do anything. But different preceptors had different comfort levels. Like I said, I've had a lot of different preceptors, partly because that one unit I was floated around from different preceptor to different preceptor. Ooh, thank you gifts. I tried to give preceptors something little as a thank you gift. I don't think that's necessary. I didn't do that all the time. Like I said, some preceptors, I literally only had one day because I would be floated around from person to person, but I tried to give them something, and it was something little, like a pack of pins. I have my favorite kind of pins. Or one of my nurse preceptors was always eating these peppermint mints, so I bought him a bag of the peppermint mints. But I don't think that's expected. I mean, I think you're welcome to do that, and it's nice, but I didn't at all get the impression that that was expected. That's just a nice little extra touch you can do if you want to be extra nice to your preceptor. But that's my thoughts. Try to be sensitive. I try to be sensitive to sharing with you guys about them, but I don't want to make it sound like they're all amazing people that you're gonna have as a preceptor as a student nurse, because they might not be, but most of them are. Most of them, if they have students under them, want to have students under them. They want to teach them. They remember being in your shoes. And I mean, I would say most of them were very supportive and helpful. And even the two that I didn't like as much, I still was able to learn under them. I still was able to learn things. I still was able to, well, one of them I literally only had half of one shift. But the other one I still was able to practice nursing skills with. And so yeah, it's a learning experience, and that's life. And I think that when you're a student nurse, your preceptor's kind of like your boss, and when you get a nursing job, you're gonna have a boss, and some are gonna be fantastic and some not so much. So it's good. It's a good opportunity if you have a preceptor that you don't mix with real well to practice those skills that you might need wherever you get employed to. Anyways, I'm trying to be kind. I hope that helps you know how to be kind to your preceptor. Even if you don't think your preceptor is fantastic. I hope that helps you understand if you've been offended by my posts complaining about my preceptor. Like I said, I've tried really hard not to share identifying information about that person, but also to let students know what they could see as a student nurse in clinicals. And I did not share a lot about preceptors. I'll just leave it at that. I've kept a lot out of the complaining. Even though you maybe have heard me complaining, I would say I'm not using these videos to nitpick and go into details about that. I don't think that would be helpful. But at the same time, I don't think it's helpful to just pretend that all preceptors are amazing, since this channel is for student nurses to know what to expect as they go through the nursing school process. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps you gain some respect for your preceptors, even if you have a preceptor you don't love. If you realize, oh, they're not being compensated really for doing this, or they're only getting like maybe $1 an hour extra for having a student tag along right beside them. And yeah, remember that a lot of times when people are putting other people down, it's because they're insecure. And so don't hesitate to acknowledge your preceptor's strengths, thank them, show appreciation to them, show them gratitude when they let you practice a skill, when they give you tips and tricks. I had many preceptors apologize to me. Many of my really great preceptors would be like, ideally I would be doing A, B, C, D, but with this many patients and this time frame, I'm doing A, B, C, D half, and they felt watched, they felt, how it is to be watched. And even though you're the student and they're the teacher, it can be intimidating to have a student watch you. So know that your preceptor might be intimidated possibly by you. Not because they think that you know more than them about nursing. I'm not saying that, but if you just learned about something and then you bring up a question about it and it's not something they regularly practice in their nursing, you might know more about that little thing. And it's really not a big deal, but some people might be intimidated by that. So just be humble, be polite, be gracious with your preceptors. And if you have one you don't like, if it's really bad, talk to your clinical supervisor about it. But, otherwise think of it as an opportunity to practice working with a boss or someone else that you don't like. Yeah, hope that helps.